10 minutes, 15 minutes would be on introduction, and then we'll take up, we'll start off with the topic and do it briefly. From the next class onwards, you'll also have your writing worksheets. Okay, so which means half of the session, which is in 1 hour, 50% of the time we'll be discussing the concepts for the class, and then the rest of the 20 minutes or 25 minutes we'll be doing worksheet solving them. This won't be a solving solution exercise per se. It's mostly you working. This is basically a writing class. So most of it would be, some of the exercises would be like basic ones like identification of the concepts, etc. But mostly it would be applying that concept of what you have heard in the class. Okay. This is a session on professional writing, and this would happen every week, Thursday, the same time. And if you are interested in knowing more about professional writing or to know how to do it, then please do come and join in and make use of this venture that we have. I will share the slide in another 2 or 3 minutes. But before I do that, I would like to talk a little bit about professional writing. So you might want to ask, so how is this different from any other form of writing? Is professional writing very different from your common forms of writing? The answer is yes, to some extent, and we'll have to define this areas or domains where they are different from the other forms of writing, right? So in general writing, we do have rules of grammar and structure, which is a part of the language learning. But what happens with respect to professional writing is there are several differences or distinctions that comes into play. And these distinctions or domains are particularly with respect to style, tone, audience, etc. Right? So we are going to be focusing more on what the style and medium and other things are. So for this class, when you take the class, we have about 12 sessions for this class. And in all of these classes, my task will be to introduce you to this different styles and tones and audience and everything that is important to make up what we call as professional writing. Okay. So what happens? So going back to the point on general writing and professional writing. In general writing, when I say that somebody is able to write, okay, or somebody is good at engaging with general writing, what we mean by that is that that person knows the grammar for that language. So if we are talking about English, for our case, mostly it is English only. So if I'm talking about English and I say someone has general writing skills or basic writing skills, what I mean is this person has a good understanding or knowledge of the structure of the language, right? So that means this person knows the grammar, right? And this person also understands the various elements that form a sentence. Like this is the basic, right? In any language, the basic knowledge that you should have to call yourself proficient in that language is the ability to write a sentence properly. So they are aware of the various components that make up a sentence. They also know how to use them grammatically and place them structurally, right? They would also be aware with the general vocabulary in use, right? The minimum part that is required to convey what they want, right? That means they're able to express their ideas. So expression is again an ability that is perceived for somebody who has basic writing skills, right? I'm talking about basic writing skills. So all these things are part of it. Knowledge of the structure, basic awareness of the vocabulary in the language. And, right. So more or less this, being able to use words, being able to write good sentences, use the structure properly. But what changes in professional writing? So when I talk about professional writing, I already assume that the person who wants to learn professional writing or is looking forward to write professionally is somebody who is a basic user of the language. This person has basic understanding of the structure, vocabulary, etc. What this person is trying to do is, this person is trying to understand how can I present these things professionally. When you talk about professional writing, the major focus then shifts to not the expression of the ideas, but mostly about how can I draw connections between these ideas and present them to the levels where it is impactful, right? So professional writing is also impactful writing. It's mostly done in order to execute an action, to solve a problem. So this is not common form of writing. This is not like a general social media post that you write, or just a text message that you write to somebody. This is more purposeful, and it is oriented towards achieving goals. Okay, which is why also professional writing sometimes by some people are referred to as purposeful writing, right? So you don't write something in the professional zone unless there is a need to do that, right? That is what the basic difference is. And when you do this, then there are certain rules and guidelines, not just with respect to the grammar that you use. There are other conventions that you must keep in mind while you write professional, right? So this then is the major difference. It is not just the expression of the ideas, but it's also about drawing connections between these ideas in such a way that it becomes impactful. It solves problems. Okay. It is also about elaboration of your idea. So this is also descriptive in nature, right? It is a longer form of writing than your general text messages or your other forms of writing. The length would be longer. The ideas will have to be elaborated. There'll have to be nice connections drawn between the sentences that you write. Okay, this is overall, it should be able to establish a claim that you want to make. In that sense, your general writing is different from professional writing, right? So this is like a very quick introduction, just a basic understanding of what professional writing is. We'll look at more of it in detail. So within the professional writing, right? This is an umbrella term that we use, but within this professional writing domain, you will see other forms of writing like business writing, medical writing, aviation, or English for hotel management, or ESP, what you call as English for specific purposes, or academic writing. All of this then become subsets of professional writing, right? The only difference that you would see in the various genres that I just mentioned would be the areas where they have used. So with respect to the areas they have used, the vocabulary would be a little different, or the format and the template and the style used would be a little different, right? But all of them are professional subsets of professional writing. Certain things are common to all of these, though their domains are a little different from each other, and hence they all are considered to be subsets of professional writing. Okay. Now, like I already mentioned, what changes in professional writing with as opposed to general writing? The medium, right? In professional writing, the medium that you use to write is very, very important. So that's one. The style or register, as we call it, right? What stylistic approach do you have in writing something professionally versus something that is written generally is quite different. What are those different styles? How can you employ them? We'll discuss all of that in detail as we progress further in this class, right? Then tone, right? Tone is something that is usually associated with your speech and modulations, but you will also see that there is something called tonal quality in writing as well. How do we do that? Again, that is also part of discussion for this class. Audience and purpose. Most important part in any professional writing, like I mentioned before, because it's also called purposeful writing, is to define the purpose. Okay, unless you're able to clearly identify and define the purpose, professional writing most usually fails. So somebody who's not able to identify and locate the purpose properly may not be able to create the kind of impact that they want, right? Needless to mention that. And your audience, right? Sometimes you have the same topic, the same thing to represent, but then the audience you find for the same thing could be different. So the same subject when presented to different audience will have to take different forms. So all of these medium, style, tone, audience, purpose, all of them put together makes your professional writing what it is, right? And we decide what tone or what style and everything else fits for a particular kind of professional writing based on the audience that you have, right? Based on the purpose that you want to achieve. So this is a very basic introduction to what professional writing is. I will share the screen with you for the slides, and we can begin talking about things in detail, right? Is the slide visible to you now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So I'll take you through this quickly. So the first one is detailing on what professional writing is. Most of it is something that I've just discussed. This is more like a technical detailing of what professional writing is. Just focus on the words that are underlined in the slides, right? What is it? A style of writing used in delivering authentic information. So this is again one point of difference, or how you can distinguish professional writing from general writing, and that is that whatever you convey through professional writing has to be an authentic or verified information. You cannot just simply write whatever you want. Whatever you present, whether it's an argument or whether it is a claim that you are making, all of them will have to be backed up with proper proof and evidence. It needs to be resourceful in its information, needs to be authentic. Trustworthy sources needs to be employed while you're presenting things in professional writing. So first is that. Use a systematic rules. So the systematic rules refers to, the medium, tone, style, register, etc. that I just discussed with you, right? So that is what systematic rules mean in this scenario. Then next thing that you see there. So examples are C, catalogs of products, brochures, medical description on a tablet strip, user manuals. Everything will fall under this category. Okay, everything can be considered as professional writing, because this will have to be, all of them have to be from authentic sources. You cannot just write how you feel like, right? Everything will have to come from a verified source. Okay. Next thing, the audience. So intended audience is specific and needs to possess recommended levels of knowledge. So what does this mean? That this cannot be something that can be represented anywhere you want, right? This is something which intends for something that needs to be given to a set of people or an audience which has some amount of knowledge, some levels of knowledge about the topic being discussed with, right? So this part is very, very important. Audience then is an important part of professional writing. And then the last part, purpose, right? Nothing becomes professional in nature, whether it is writing or anything else, unless it is defined, unless it has a clearly defined purpose, right? So all of this basically is what I have discussed with you in the introduction part. Now, quickly, a little bit more detail about the differences. On your left-hand side, you have what professional writing deals with and what literary writing deals with. Let's see if we have any additional thing that we haven't specified already. So look at that. Manages specific information so as to take suitable action. So like I told you, like most of the writing is for creating an impact. Okay, it's not like a meaningless random activity. Most of it is to take suitable actions, whereas in literary writing and general writing, both of them will share these qualities. These are not written by itself for any sort of, to fulfill any purposes. They can be written both for achieving a purpose and they can be written otherwise also. Okay, it needn't always be something that is done to achieve a particular purpose. But professional writing, on the other hand, always is written to fulfill suitable actions, right? Written to inform and instruct, the other can be written to entertain and amuse. Then with respect to language that you use in professional writing, we'll look at detail about the language that is used in professional writing. We'll look at what this direct, factual, specific, and straightforward means. That is, we'll see how to write, in a direct, factual, specific fashion. For the time being, you just need to keep in mind that this is the nature of the language that is used in professional writing. So how is it? It is direct, factual, specific, and straightforward. On the other hand side, what do you see? Literary writing, obviously, all of us know they have, they can use techniques like metaphors, hyperbole, all of them, all of those figures of speech which can bring in elements of imagination and creativity. Okay, so that way it is different. The language will look very different in both professional and literary writing. Technical vocabulary simply means that this does not refer to anything particular. Technical would mean specialized vocabulary. Like if you are giving a seminar, then all of us know that the vocabulary that is used to make that presentation or to give that, to write that report would be very specific to that area. So technical vocabulary here just means specialized vocabulary, nothing else. Simple sentences, yes, no complicated sentences. Everything should be, since the language has to be direct and factual and specific too, there is no space for convoluted writing. So you use simple sentences, and then you have impersonal and objective tone. Okay, look at that. This is about tone. What kind of tone? Impersonal and objective tone, right? Which means you're not allowed to use too many personal references. Like you can't refer to either yourself or the person who you're addressing, right? The addressee should always be a general person, right? It cannot be one particular person that you are addressing when you're writing professionally. The case of email and all is different. We'll come to that. How email, although is considered a part of professional writing, allows for personal spaces. That we'll look at when we discuss about email writing. But in general, impersonal, objective tone. So what does objective tone mean? There are no places for assumptions in professional writing. You can't write sentences like I think or I believe or etc. These things have no space in professional writing. Whatever you write will have to come from an authentic source, something that is verified and proved. Unless that happens, you cannot push it off into professional writing domain. Right? So that is what objectivity or objective tone means in professional writing. The other thing, of course, it will it majorly is written to appeal to emotions. It makes use of too many complex sentences. And with respect to language, you can also see that there is no standard convention that is used. You will also find the usage of the dialects or non-standard versions of language in literary writing. But none of that is allowed in professional writing. Right? Then one can be written for general readers and the other for the specific audience. This is something, the specific differences, if you ask me about professional writing and writing, these are the ones. Okay. And each of this point we'll take up in this classes, in these tutorials, in an elaborate fashion with methods to how to write all of this, right? How to write, how to use language in a direct factual way, or how to use an objective tone. How can we use technical vocabulary? All of this would be part of discussion and part of our practice for the professional writing. Okay, is that clear? Any immediate questions that you have?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So now we'll begin with what I have intended to talk about in this class. Elements of professional writing, majorly four. So when somebody says that I want you to write something professionally, the basic four, the most important four elements that they are going to check you for are the ones on the screen. The first one is your ability to write a well-developed and organized paragraph, or paragraphs if it's a further long piece of writing, right? The first and the foremost important element then would be ability to write developed, organized paragraphs. Second is appropriate style, right? Third is your clarity of ideas. And the last is spelling and grammar. Do not think that, I know spelling and grammar. This is an area where even the most seasoned writers can go wrong on, right? And they're very, very important. It looks like a silly thing to be put up on a slide or to talk about. However, The consequence, if you submit a report or a research paper or anything that you write wrought with spelling errors and grammar, is unthinkable. Sometimes the journals or the forums that you send your work to, they make a final decision of not accepting any manuscripts from you in the future because you send in a paper that was not badly written, but it had spelling errors and grammar. You're not taken seriously thereafter. Nobody will bother to look at what you've written once they've figured spelling errors and grammar errors in your writing. So in that sense, although it's not something that is given a lot of importance these days. People think, oh, we have spell check or we have Grammarly, so it's okay. Spelling maybe sometimes Grammarly can catch, but with respect to the grammar structures, there are not that developed apps which would tell you what is acceptable in your in your particular professional domain. That has to be learned and executed by, you have to make the effort to do that. You cannot have a ready-made response when it comes to things like this. Right. So in today's class, we're going to begin with the first element then, which is the developed and organized paragraphs. We look at how can we have well-developed, what do we mean by a developed paragraph? And that would be the first part. And the second part would be to look at how do we organize paragraphs, okay? Both within and between the various paragraphs that we have, right? So that's the first thing. For today's class, we are going to discuss on this thing. I think at least for the next 2 classes, we'll continue to talk about paragraph and what are the essential elements required to write and develop a good paragraph, right? So that will continue. And then we'll slowly, maybe by the 4th class or onwards, we'll move to the next part, which is style, okay? Meanwhile, with all these classes, we're also going to practice writing. So that would also happen. Let's begin. We'll talk about what is a paragraph. Okay. Now, all of us know what a paragraph is, but if I ask you how to write a well-developed paragraph, or what are the various components of a paragraph, would you have any quick response? You can read this from so about what is a paragraph? Most of the people the immediate response would be that, oh, it is a group of sentences, right? Like we say, phrases are a group of words. Clauses has one verb and then, one subject and one predicate. So that is also another collection of, it is a little larger than phrase. Similarly, you talk about paragraphs. You ask somebody what is a paragraph? Quick response would be, oh, it's a collection of sentences. Now, is it just a simple collection of sentences? Can any collection of sentences become a paragraph? How do these collection of paragraphs become, or what kind of collections of sentences become a paragraph? That is important for us to understand, right? So, not just any collection of sentences, but but that collection of sentences which talks about a single point or idea that are coherent and organized, right? So 3 things. It should talk about a single point or idea. It has to be coherent, which means there should be well-established connection between the sentences. And it must be organized in such a fashion that it conveys what it wants. If all these 3 points are checked within these collection of sentences, then that one becomes a paragraph, right? Any random collection of sentences cannot become a paragraph, right? This understanding is very important for us to write good paragraphs. That is single point or idea, coherence, and organization. Okay, all these 3 things work together to give you a good paragraph. Is that clear? Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay, right. If there's anything, you can just raise your hands and ask me at any point. Now, what can paragraphs do? What do they do? They can narrate series of events. They can classify. They can describe or analyze. They can define. They can describe. They can elaborate. So see, so many functions with just the help of one thing, which is paragraph, right? Compare, contrast, cause and effect. We'll see how, each of these paragraphs uses words and language to convey what they want. Like how do you use language to narrate? Okay, how do you use language to classify? How do you use language to describe? All of this we'll look one by one, but first we need to clear off with what paragraph is, right? So this is the basic understanding of paragraph. Okay, what is it? It is not simply a collection of sentences, but it is something that talks about a single point or idea, which in turn are coherent and organized in order to convey the idea or the point that we talk about in the paragraph. Okay, right. Now, what do you see within the paragraph? Right? What makes up a paragraph? How do you develop a good paragraph? Or when can I say that the paragraph that I have here is a good one? Structurally, what elements or what components do I look for in a paragraph when I'm making it? Right? What do you see here? You see the picture of something like a hamburger, right? And this particular thing tells you that there is a top layer and a bottom layer, very much like a burger in the paragraph. And in between, you have several layers which you refer to as the supporting sentences. So the topmost layer, okay, which is the beginner or the initiator to the paragraph, is your topic sentence. The last one to pad it up with is called the conclusion or the concluding sentence, anything that you want. And all those meaty layers in between, they are your supporting sentences. So this is how usually a paragraph looks like, right? When you have to see if it is a well-developed paragraph, you will have to check for topic sentence, supporting sentences, and concluding sentences, right? With respect to concluding sentences, I will talk more about it in detail when we talk about concluding sentence, but just to begin off, I just want to tell you that not all paragraphs will have a concluding sentence. All the paragraphs will definitely have topic sentences and supporting sentences, without which it cannot be made. But concluding sentences is not like a essential thing in all paragraphs, right? If it is a standalone paragraph, that is, if it is a single paragraph, then concluding sentences, obviously, that has to be there. But if your paragraph is part of a larger essay or, a report, then not all your paragraph is going to have a concluding sentence, right? Just keep that in mind. But check off point, topic sentence, supporting sentences, and concluding sentence. This is how a well-developed paragraph will look. We will look at topic sentence today. We're not going to look at the supporting and concluding for today's class. We'll mostly concentrate on the topic sentence for today's class and take up the remaining for the next class. Topic sentence, right? This sentence, the task of this particular sentence is to represent the main single idea of the paragraph. So this introduces you, right? The very first sentence, the topic sentence, introduces you to the main idea of the paragraph. It tells you what the subject of the paragraph would be, right? Now, it says it is usually the first or second sentence of the paragraph. Please concentrate on the word usually here, okay? Why? Because usually this is the case, but it needn't be the case all the time, which means sometimes you can find your topic sentence later on in the paragraph. It is not necessary that you always find them in the beginning or even as the second sentence. Sometimes you may find it midway through the sentence, the paragraph somewhere, or maybe later than that. Usually means most of the times. And in professional writing, you will see that the topic sentence usually is the first or the second sentence. Because remember, in that distinction that we talked about, we said that professional writing has to be straightforward and specific. So we don't prefer any sort of ambiguities or confusions in professional writing. So to remove all these kind of problems, these confusions that can occur, the usual preferred method is to place your topic sentence as the first or the second sentence. Okay, mostly the first sentence, but sometimes also the second sentence, if there is a need of some other kind of introductions in the beginning. But it is not a hard and fast rule, which means in other forms of writing, you can find the topic sentence later on in the paragraph too. Okay, right. Additional functions of the topic sentence, besides introducing you to the main idea or the subject, it also sets the direction or tells you about the perspective of the author, right? So it tells you what direction the paragraph is going to take. Is it going to talk about the positive aspects, or is it going to talk about the negative aspects, or is it is it going to define something? Is it going to explain something? All of these clues you can catch from the topic sentence itself, right? Because the supporting sentence are basically just a elaboration of what is being claimed in the topic sentence, right? Then you see another thing, the controlling idea. What is a controlling idea? This controlling idea usually follows the topic, and this is the one which sets the direction. I'll show you an example of that in the next slide so you'll understand it better. But for the time being, please keep in mind, topic sentence has both the topic and the controlling idea. Topic tells you what the topic is, obviously, and controlling idea sets the direction or the perspective in which the paragraph is going to be developed further. Okay. Right. So controlling idea sets the perspective, or it also tells you about the attitude or belief of the author, right? That is the task. Positioning of the topic sentence, like I discussed with you, it can either occur in the beginning of the paragraph, right? Or at the end of the paragraph or elsewhere, right? In professional writing, though, we prefer the topic sentence to be in the beginning of the paragraph. Sometimes, look at the fourth point, sometimes, you cannot, you sometimes don't find the topic sentence in the paragraph. It is only implied, which means there is no explicit sentence that you can put your finger on and say that, oh, this is my topic sentence. But it is simply implied. Okay, it's just there. You need to guess it from the paragraph that is already given. It is not written as a sentence by itself there. This kind of writing is most common in fictional writing. Okay, only in creative writing and fictional writing, you usually use the implied topic sentence method. In professional writing, you definitely don't use this one. You are not allowed to use the implied technique of topic sentence. The most preferred one is obviously writing in the beginning of the sentence, right? Topic sentences, they can be utilized to indicate transitions. So this fifth point is important, especially if you're writing longer essays, right? If it is just one single paragraph, then of course these things don't matter. But if you're writing, say, multiple paragraphs for an essay, what happens? You have to sometimes also show, your flow of writing from one paragraph to the next in the essay. So in that cases, you have to show the transition that you have taken. To indicate this transition, sometimes your topic sentence becomes very helpful. Topic sentence is the one which encodes that transitions, and it uses various signposts like in contrast, however, yet, on the other hand. These are all linguistic signposts which you can see within the topic sentence to indicate transitions. Okay, I'll give you examples for all this, so don't worry if you're not catching it immediately. Sixth one, another method of writing the topic sentence, you can posit topic sentence like a question, right? Especially in argumentative style of writing. If you're writing an opinion piece, say for a newspaper column or an editorial column, and if it is an argument piece that you're writing, then sometimes placing your topic sentence in the form of a question is very impactful, right? It helps you draw your reader closer to what you're writing, right? So when you ask a question, you're also trying to involve your reader in formulating the response to that question. So it's not you simply explaining and describing a situation. You ask and you sort of give an impression that you're also being inclusive. You're trying to make your audience also included in what you're probing, what you're investigating, right? So this is a good writing method that is used by editors, not just in writing. If you watch TV news channels, you would see during debates, no, most of the times they do not simply give you a topic. It's not like a phrasal topic. Their topics are always in the question fashion, if you have noticed, right? They write something and then put a question mark at the end. It's a very problematic way of representing things because it can create an impression that you're taking sides. However, this is a very popular method used to draw the audience closer to what you are writing or speaking or debating on. Okay, have you seen this? If you watch news channels, you might have seen this, right? Most of the topics come in with a question mark at the end. Have you observed this before?
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Correct. So this is a method that they utilize to sometimes, draw in the audience closer to what they want to discuss, sometimes also for other purposes. Okay, but this is an important method used in writing and other areas as well. Okay, Now, about writing effective topic sentences. So we know what topic sentence is. We looked at its positioning. We also looked at what kind of topic sentences you can use for different styles. Now, how do you write it effectively? What can be an effective topic sentence, right? Just read the three sentences that you have on the screen, and then I'll discuss it with you, right? Three sentences here. The fitness industry is concerned with the health and fitness of the people. That's the first one. Second is the fitness industry is concerned with health, fitness, fashion, hygiene, mental well-being, and several other aspects of human life. Third one, fitness industry includes any person, company, or entity that focuses on exercise, health, and overall maintenance of the body. Are they all different? They're all different, not just in terms of the words and other things, but do you see a general difference in all the three sentences that you see here? They don't have the same kind of impact, do they?
They don't.
I've indicated what it means in brackets for all of them. I just want to ask you if you agree with it. The fitness industry is concerned with the health and fitness of the people. Says too general. Do you think it is a too general a statement to make?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, because fitness industry is already, everyone knows that. It is
Correct.
concerned.
Everybody knows it. It is general information. It's an obvious piece
Yes.
of information, right? It's like saying water pollution is pollution caused by water, right? So that's a very bad method of writing, right? Nobody has to take you seriously if you write like that. Second one, you guys can still hear me, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, because I just there's some info that flashed on my screen saying unstable connection. Just checking on whether I'm still connected. Okay, so the fitness industry is concerned with health, fitness, fashion, hygiene, mental well-being, and several other aspects of human life. What's the problem? What is the problem? What do you think is the problem with that sentence?
Actually, they are going into too much detail.
Too much details, and the problem is not giving too much details. The problem is also that you're trying to fit in all of that in one thing, right? So ideally, this has to be something that has to be explained over a few paragraphs in a write-up or in an article. But each of this has to be taken up separately in those paragraphs and explained or elaborated upon. Instead, this topic sentence tries to achieve all of this in one go, going into too many details, right? So that is the problem with this one. Now, the last one, this is just something that I've written. I'm not saying this is the most effective method or the way of writing it, but it is definitely different from the first two that you have read here. And please read it again and let me know if you think it is a better fit than the other two. The fitness industry includes any person, company, or entity that focuses on exercise, health, and overall maintenance of the body.
But ma'am, how a company can have like body, like it is not to not. We cannot say that company have a body like that, like person.
Company that focuses on exercise,
Okay. Yeah.
health, and overall maintenance of the body. Company doesn't have this. It's the company that maintains and manages these issues like exercise, health, and maintenance of the body. What is the confusion? I don't quite catch the question.
Actually, that was the question. Like.
Yeah, please elaborate on your question. I did not really understand what the problem with company was.
Actually, I thought that how come company can have a body like a human? So that's what.
Company can have
a body like human, because we have mentioned that.
Oh no, this is about company that manages. So don't you see all these gyms and all that? What is that? Isn't that a company?
Yes, they are.
Right. Yeah. So it needn't be always a person doing it. It can be a company. There's companies that run chains of gyms everywhere. No, you can see that in all major cities I don't know how it is in small towns, but all cities will have this major
Yeah, almost every.
gym chains and all that. So they become like a full-fledged organization, which focuses like your electronics company would focus on that. This one will focus on health overload, maintenance of the body, exercise, etc. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, that's not the point of concern here. The concern is how effectively that topic sentence regarding fitness industry is represented. First one was too general, giving you obvious details, right? Second one was giving you too many details. And the third one is what I call as the near effective. Okay. It tells you the reader that this is what they are going to read about. And in general, you're going to read about all these things, and the further paragraph is going to elaborate on specificities of that. At least that much sense you get from this. Yes, no, agree, disagree? Yeah, all right. No problem, right? Okay, I hope people are still around. Okay, let's look at the example of topic, sentence, and controlling idea in an example here. So read this silently and tell me what do you identify as the topic and the controlling idea. I'll talk to you about it, but first read the that paragraph carefully and tell me what you see.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Your voice is interrupted again and again. Maybe some network issue.
Is that the same for everyone else?
I don't know.
Yes, ma'am, little bit.
Can others hear me? Would you please confirm?
Yes, I can hear you, ma'am.
Okay.
But there is some breaking in your voice.
Yes, ma'am. Sometimes there is an internet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. But is it clearer now?
Yes, it is. But sometimes it's completely
It's
gone.
clear now, but still.
Oh, okay. I am not sure why that happens. Okay, just give me a moment. I'll try to. Let me know if it happens again. There could be internet connection problems. Should be better now. If it doesn't improve, I'm sorry about it. It's a little cloudy up here. Probably the reason could be that.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so yeah, please go through this paragraph and let me know what do you think is the topic and the controlling idea. Okay, identifying the controlling idea and topic is very, very important because it's both of them together which makes the topic sentence. So topic plus your controlling idea is your topic sentence, right? So read through this paragraph. Let me know. When you're looking for topic sentences in a paragraph, there are certain questions that you can ask yourself. Okay, if those questions answer, whatever answers your questions would be the one which is the topic sentence or the topic of the sentence. Topic of the paragraph. So let me see if you can do that without me telling you. I'll definitely tell you how to do that. What is this paragraph about? Any idea?
Writing.
Writing
Paragraph.
How a person
writing, yes.
should write, like how a person should write complete.
Yeah. Whatever the details are, this is about writing. right? So the topic is certainly writing. Now, what do you see in the very first sentence you have here? Is a complex socio-cognitive process involving the construction of recorded messages on paper or some other material, and more recently on a computer screen, right? This part is what is referred to as the controlling idea in a topic sentence. So topic is definitely writing. Controlling idea sets, remember from the discussion that we had just a few minutes before, controlling idea is what sets the perspective or the direction of what you're going to write. It sets the agenda of what we are going to read further about the topic. So this definitely, is a complex socio-cognitive process involving construction of recorded messages. It already says complex socio-cognitive process, which means in the remaining part of the paragraph, we are going to learn more about this socio-cognitive process. How is it a complex socio-cognitive process, or something related to or something about this complex socio-cognitive process is what you're going to read in the further sentences. If you have finished reading the paragraph, did you see that it is the other sentences are basically written about this particular part? It is an explanation to what this complex socio-cognitive process means. Did you gather that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So please, if you haven't read already, or if you did not read it that way, reread again and see that this controlling idea, to understand why controlling idea is called as something that sets the perspective or the agenda for the further paragraph. See the connection between this, the first sentence is a complex socio-cognitive process and the sentences in the paragraph, right from the skills needed to write range till the last sentence because of these characters. All of those sentences that you have there, 3 or 4 of them, are basically an elaboration of what this socio-cognitive process is. So sometimes it can be elaboration, sometimes it can be reasons, sometimes it can be a narration, sometimes it can be description. That will differ, okay? It can be anything based on what you want to write. But what is going to be, what you have to be careful is that these sentences are definitely related to what is given in the controlling idea. It does not skid away from that. Whether it's narration, elaboration, description, or argumentation, whatever the form it is, it has to talk about the controlling idea. It will definitely not talk about anything that is not represented by the controlling idea. Okay, that is what it means. So now to talk about how do you identify topic sentences, you can ask questions like, what is the author saying about the topic, right? To identify the topic, you can ask questions like, what is this paragraph mostly about? Okay, or what is the big idea of the paragraph, right? What phrase or word do you see repeated? So this is another method of understanding the topic. You look through the paragraph and see what are those repeated words in the sentences, what phrases have been repetitively used. Most probably those that is the one that the paragraph is talking about. That's the main topic that is being dealt with. Okay, or what single word can you use to describe the whole of the paragraph, right? All these questions can help you answer what the topic of the paragraph is if you're confused, right? Now, what will help you understand the main idea or the controlling idea? Questions like, what is the author saying about the topic? What do the details explain about the topic? So you look at all those sentences after the one that is colored in red. You look at those sentences and ask questions like, what do these details explain about the topic? Okay. And what is this paragraph mostly about? What are the major points about the topic? All of these questions will point you towards your controlling idea or the main idea of the paragraph. Understand this? Okay. So this is what, this is just about the identification part, but I'm sure most of the time, even without that, everybody is able to make out this connection, right? Harsh, I saw your hand raised. Are you still here? You can ask your question if you're around. Was that Harsh?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Here it is written that non-alphabetic, as in many Asian languages. What does that non-alphabetic mean?
Or non-alphabetic. Non-alphabetic means, there are languages which don't have letters, right? They represent using pictures, like Chinese and Japanese. If you look at their script, they don't have have letters like us, or say like languages like English. What they instead they use signs, symbols, pictures to write. Haven't you seen that?
It
That is
means
what,
they don't have alphabets like A, B, C, D or something like
they
that.
don't have letters like we use. They have more of sign representation, symbols, etc.
Isn't sign can be called as a alphabet?
No,
To sign?
alphabet is usually a word that is used to describe letter systems. Okay. So you can have like the Roman alphabet system or the Brahmi alphabet system, or even the, I mean, there are several of them, but signs and pictorial representations are not alphabets. Okay, alphabets mostly related to letters. Okay, this is
Okay.
about writing convention. Huh? Okay, all right. Right, so I hope you've understood what topic and controlling idea means. You have other examples too. I want you to read through this one. This is particularly to make you understand a different aspect. Read this paragraph again. Example 2.
I'm not able to hear you. Completely gone.
What is it? It's the same paragraph, right? The one that you just read. But what did you see? The first sentence has now gone to the end of the paragraph. Unlike speaking, writing is a complex socio-cognitive process that has to be acquired through years of training or schooling. Now, tell me, has the topic of the sentence changed?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No. Has the controlling idea changed?
No, ma'am.
Yes, I think.
Has it changed?
No, no, I guess.
No, it hasn't, right? So the topic has remained the same. The controlling idea is also the same. The only thing you did is you changed the position of the topic sentence, which instead of the first sentence is now the last sentence here. Nothing else has changed. You just simply reverse the pattern of arrangement, right? We will see what this form of arrangement is when we discuss the organizations within paragraph. But you see that the same thing can be represented in two different ways. We'll see why we write, what are the areas where you should choose to write the first method and where should we use the second one. This will be the part of organization, and I'll talk to you in detail about that there. But I just want to let you know that no matter what changes you bring into the pattern, the topic usually doesn't change, and the controlling idea also doesn't change. Okay, so simply changing the position of the topic sentence in and around the paragraph will not change the purpose or the topic by itself. Okay, that's not how we go about with writing. So since it's same, we won't discuss on this. This is something that I want you to read specifically. Just quickly run through it. We'll close definitely by 5, not extend further. But I want you to look through these examples. You managed to read?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, what is the topic sentence in this paragraph? Any comments? Can you pick one from the paragraph that you just read? Is there any that you can pick from here? What a lark, what a plunge, for so it had always seemed to her when with a little squeak of the hinges, which she could hear now. She had burst open the French windows and plunged at Borden into the open
It's about the starting of the
air.
day.
How fresh, how calm, stiller than this, of course. What, sorry?
It's the starting of the day.
Starting, no. So, okay, starting of a day. I'll keep that aside. There can be several readings to it because of the way in this particular author writes. But do you see that it does not have a topic sentence? If I ask you to pick one from there, it's difficult to pick one and say that this is the topic sentence, because you can't look at a topic here, can you? It is only implied. See this? No one sentence in this paragraph can be taken off and presented as the topic sentence. The only thing you can do is you can read it and form an implication from there, right? So the topic sentence is only implied, and hence needless to mention, by now you would have figured that this is a fictional form of writing, right? So this is an excerpt from a novel. So this implied topic sentence method usually is done in fictional writing. It is only it is something that you would only find in more of creative writing. In professional writing, you're not going to see this. I just wanted to give you an example of what implied topic sentence means. This is not important for our purpose or our class, but just to give you an introduction to it. Okay, I hope others also have been able to see it. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, this is the last one that we'll be looking at. I hope, yeah, it is. So it's the last example. Please look at this one. Keep those questions in mind which you used to identify the topic sentence. Tell me which one do you think is the topic sentence here. Okay. Any guesses on what the topic sentence is?
Red eye is the result of light from the flash reflecting off the pupils of the eyes.
Right. Okay. What is known as red eye is the result of light from the flash reflecting off the pupils of the eyes. If that is the identification.
Yes, ma'am.
Look at the sentences. This feature activates a lamp which shines a small light directly into the subject's eyes. When this happens, the diameter of the pupil is reduced, thus tightening the opening in the iris, since a smaller pupil, etc., so on and so forth. Are these sentences talking about the sentence that you just picked for us?
Yes, ma'am. They are saying about red eye. What?
Are they talking about red eye, or are they talking about reducing red eye?
They're talking about reducing red eye.
And the sentence that you chose, does that talk anything about reducing the red eye, or does it talk about just the red eye?
Just the red eye.
Okay. So
how it
are they
results in
connected?
red eye.
Sorry?
How it results in red eye.
Yes, right. So do they match then?
No, ma'am.
No, right? Okay, now look at this sentence. The phenomena of red eye can be lessened by using the red eye reduction feature found on many SLR cameras. See if other sentences tally up to that, to the sentence. Do they connect?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, right. So what is the topic then? What are we dealing with? We are talking about reduction of the red eye, right? The red eye reduction feature is what we are talking about. And every other supporting sentence that you see here is connected to that, which means your topic sentence is the one that you see somewhere through the middle of the paragraph, right? The phenomena of red eye can be lessened by using the red eye reduction feature found on many SLR cameras. So this is your topic. the topic sentence. The topic is encoded in that sentence. Hence, that becomes the topic sentence. You see that? Rest of you, those who are here,
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
right? Okay. So that is how you will have to look at the paragraph. Now, this is a case where I told you topic sentence can be positioned elsewhere in the paragraph. This is one example of that. It is not immediately found in the beginning. In the beginning, you have few sentences like when a camera flashes are used and all that. This is basically just initiation into what the topic is, right? The real topic comes only in the third sentence, which is about the reduction or the reducing of the red eye while you click pictures. So keep an eye on these things. See how, if all the other sentences talk about this, they add further details to the sentence, only then you can decide whether something is topic sentence or not. In your case, because this is a writing course, you have to write sentences or write a topic sentences which functions as a pivotal point for the others. Okay. This identification processes will help you. This examples, 4 of them I have showed you so that you understand how to write one when you write a paragraph on your own. Right? These are the things that you need to keep in mind. Is that clear? How we chose which one's the topic sentence? All good?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So it's already 5:01. So I don't think I want to go further, because if I take up supporting sentences, there are more things that I want to say. Maybe we won't be able to stop on time. So that's all for today. I hope this would be useful. If you think it is, please do come back for the next session as well. In the next class, we are going to be doing activity on the identification of topics and topic sentence and topic and controlling idea within a topic sentence. So we'll have a worksheet ready already for that. So half time, we'll be discussing the other 2 parts which form the components of a paragraph, which is supporting sentence and concluding sentence, and the rest of the time we'll do the activity. Okay. So thank you for joining in. If you have any questions, you can ask. I'll wait. Otherwise, see you all for the next class.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.